All right. Well, Christina, thank you. Welcome to the Change Catalyst podcast.
Thanks for having me. Excited to step out my comfort zone and do this.
I know I think it's awesome. You know, when I put out that post about wanting like LEO wives, law enforcement wives, I was so excited. We got a good amount of feedback and awesome. A good amount of people that were interested, and I was really excited. And you know, part of that is, you know, being retired law enforcement wife now, but it doesn't ever really leave you. But you know, when TJ and I were on a lot of when we go to conferences and speaking arrangements, people would say, you know, you guys need to talk. You guys need to talk. And I'm like, yeah. And then not really sure how to go about it. And so this is, I think, our first kind of dabble into that arena.
I think it's good that you're doing that. I think DSP also is starting to do something like that.
I saw that, yeah.
Trying to speak it into fruition for a friend who like is kind of thinking it's a calling for her, just to have the wives a little bit more involved, because after Lauren spoke at the funeral, she did like talk about wives are kind of the backbones and like staying home while your husband can go do their job. So
yeah,
I think it's cool for us to have our word out.
I mean, how amazing was that she spoke? I mean, how brave of her.
It was amazing.
It was.
Yeah. Her speech was amazing. I've like watched it on YouTube a couple of times. Just like, it was kind of
ugly
cool
crying
to watch.
by myself.
Yeah. She should be able to come on here too. I think she would really be able to reach a lot of people.
Anytime she's willing and ready, we'd love to have her. We'd love to have her. So I really appreciate you being willing, you know, to share your story and your experiences as a wife. But like also there's, you know, I think we also have to understand, like, you know, there's more to us than just being a spouse, and same with our, you know, our significant others. Like there's more to them for being more than just a cop too. So, so, you know, life is really full. We're not just busy, but you have so many things going on, and so we really want to talk about like what resilience looks like, and not just that fake like, oh, we're great. Because unfortunately, like statistics show otherwise, right? Like as a law enforcement community, we're getting divorced at much higher rates than the national average, 50 to 60 to 75, depending on where you look. So I think, you know, we don't get into a marriage or a relationship thinking that we're going to get divorced. Right?
I definitely think kids too change it. We went to the DSP's like wives thing the other week, and it talked about like resources available just to keep balance. And so I think it's important that's, you know, brought up and aware for
definitely
people.
So, you know, your email really struck me, and I think I think something that you kind of touched on was that not everything is super heavy, but things are not always easy in our lives. And I mean, just for the average person, but you know, you add in all the things that go into being a law enforcement spouse. But it's about how we choose to carry those really hard and heavy things, right? So, you know, at first, let's kind of start with like, so who are you?
My name's Christina. I'm a teacher. I have twin daughters. They're identical, but they don't look identical. One has health issues, and then the other one is healthy and very sassy. The other one is kind of has that like I don't give a F attitude, which kind of helps like her personality. I started doing CrossFit a little bit after COVID just to kind of help with my mental health, and that like changed my life.
Awesome.
Forever. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying like whole CrossFit community, but like finding exercise.
Right, movement.
And then we enjoy living down here. I think it would be a lot harder to be a police wife up north.
Sure.
When you don't have like the access to the beach or just stuff that like can
all the things that make you happy and can help you disconnect from that life a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
So what does a normal day look like for you guys right now?
So we're getting used to a new schedule right now, which I'm doing much better with a consistent schedule compared to the unit my husband was in before.
Okay.
So if he is working, you know, I get the girls up, we go to school. I'll usually get up 30 minutes, 40 minutes before they do. I'll write a workout in our garage. My husband has been really good about, you know, giving me a little space to have a gym. So we've got dumbbells and stuff. So that helps me in the morning.
Yeah.
Get them ready from school. We get breakfast, go to school, we come back, do homework. It's pretty routine. I mean, it's almost a little bit boring sometimes.
Listen,
they
sometimes
play,
I will take
bath,
boring.
showers, dinner, and then I try to read a little bit at bed. Not like I read for pleasure, not anything heavy. So,
and so I know you had mentioned that, like, you know, getting changed to a different schedule. So he was in a specialized unit, which I know when my husband was in a specialized unit, that is sometimes in some ways it was like, oh, it's great. It's Monday through Friday. It's 9 to 5. It's
never 9 to 5.
But it's never that.
No,
right?
It was like 9 to 10,
Whenever.
11. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like this better. I'm definitely type A. So knowing
So
when
he's
working.
back to shift work
Back
then.
to shift work. And it's only really one weekend a month, but then he's on nights. I mean, I don't mind being by myself during the day. So
No, yeah.
I guess I've been used to it because in the summer he's at work. So I've kind of
And
been
you're
used to
home.
being alone by myself with them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's your normal kind of everyday, getting used to back to being on the shift work.
I like predictability, so I'm one of those
So it
people,
works
like,
well
if I
for
know
you.
what's happening, I'm better prepared, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Some people are probably way more easygoing than I am with that.
No, I mean, I think, you know, some of the things that help us is that, like, their schedule is constantly shifting. So it's like we need to be as a spouse, we need to be that steady Eddie of, this is what our routine is, this is what our schedule is. And especially when you have kids, like, routines are so important.
Yeah.
And then, so, you know, you're school teacher, elementary school teacher.
Yep.
And your husband, and he also works in the same town that you teach in. And you live in the town that you guys both work in, or the town area. So, you know, working in like service, you know, two kind of service facing jobs. How do you manage that, like, in your community? For us, it was hard when we lived in Milford and he worked in Milford, and then our kid went to school in Milford. So it's like, oh, my daddy just arrested your daddy, like, oh, kind of stuff. Like, do you guys ever run into any of that weird stuff?
My husband has like pointed out, like, I've arrested a parent before, but I think because I work at a school different than our like home school that the girls should go to, it kind of gives us a little bit of distance from like close to our house, which is kind of almost like a safety net. Because no one will know that we live in where we live, and so except for now, but
other folks.
We don't live close, so it's hard sometimes just because you have to kind of be careful about what you say and just kind of keep yourself a little bit more reserved. But I like working in the community I serve in. I know with DSP, they are all about community, especially like from some of our adversity experiences. So I think it's kind of cool to work where you live, because then you're a part of that community and you're able to make a little bit of a difference of where you live.
Yeah, you can see the impact of the things that you're doing. Sure. It's both in both roles, right? Like through it as an educator and as a police officer, as a trooper. So how does being married to an officer, like in the community that you work in, has that shifted your perspective on like safety or anything like that?
Definitely more hyper vigilant where we are. Just, you know, you can say this. I guarantee TJ will never let you.
Oh, there's places I was never allowed to go.
Or we're not allowed to go. Or so there's some things, but I think you just have to learn how to adapt to it. Tim loves his job, so I would never want to take that away from him. So
sure. Yeah, whenever we go to the restaurant, I wait to see where he's going to sit. Like, he has to sit first because he has to figure out where he's going to sit.
That's where Tim is too. I'm like, where were you sitting?
I'm like, where are you going?
He usually needs to be able to see like the entrance or like have a
he can't have his back to everybody.
I think you just have to be more aware and just don't go places where you know that there's been crime or somewhere where your husband has worked.
Yeah. Because my background is I'm a social worker, and I was a field-based social worker, so I did a lot of like home visits. So there would be times when I'm like, oh, I can't tell TJ where I'm going today because he won't let me go. So we would have to do like afterward stuff, or he was partially with the Marshals Task Force then, but I would see him like drive by in his work car and his undercover drug car, and I'd be like,
whoops, you didn't see me.
Whoops. And then like as a teacher, you know, and really like, you know, you're caring for all these kids all day, and especially elementary, right? Like you're still helping them, you're still, you know, caring for them all day. So how does that, you know, impact like when you come home? Like, do you ever need like, I need 20 minutes?
Yes, I do. There's an episode of Bluey where I actually have to tell the girls, I'm like, it's not you, but remember in the episode of Bluey when the mom needs a break? I'm like, and I usually go out in the garage. I'm like, I need to either like work out or just like go for a walk outside. That's kind of my mental like break. And Tim, if he's home, he knows like, okay, she needs 20 minutes or just, he'll just pitch in sometimes like she needs a minute. 'Cause it's just a very overstimulated day when you're with kids from 8 a.m. to bedtime.
You have like, nobody can touch me or talk to me for 30
I'm like,
minutes.
I just need 20 minutes by myself. It's definitely easier when it's warmer outside because then you can just go sit outside. But
yeah. Gosh, I bet. And then so you had mentioned that you have twin daughters. And how old are they?
they're 6.5.
Oh, what a good age.
Yeah, they're fun right now. They're definitely easier now.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say like at that age, they're starting to get like a small level of independence where you can be like, you can go grab this or grab that. And yeah. And then you had mentioned that one of them is having some health issues.
Yes. So they're identical twins, but one of our twins' kidneys didn't develop in utero.
Okay.
So that was probably the hardest experience of my life was dealing with that. It had nothing to do with police work, but just figuring out like when we found out we were maternal fetal because we were having twins.
Okay.
They were back and forth like she's not going to make it, she's going to make it. So you kind of just really, I feel like we really almost like grieved a little bit before she was even born.
Oh, yeah.
And then when she was born, they were born at CHOP. They told us she at first wasn't going to make it. Then she's going to need a transplant by 2, and now she's 6.5. So she's like triple the amount of time.
Wow.
So we've
What a
had
fighter.
time. Yeah, but she's going to get a transplant in May.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But she's still doing really well. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things we had to like overcome as a couple too, was dealing with that.
So did you have to like deliver up at CHOP?
I did, yeah.
Okay. And then did she have to stay there for a while?
She was there for 7 weeks. Her twin was there for 4 because they delivered at 34 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess you kind of see like it could be worse or, you know, like at CHOP, they're kind of like, oh, she's an easy patient. She just has kidney issues.
You're
So
like,
it's kind of changed us in a way.
You're
And
like,
like,
okay.
you know, being angry with, I guess, God when it happened, that was like a hard thing. I'm like, why did this happen? But then you kind of like learn, like, he gave her for a reason. Like, we have access to needles and stuff that like other people should not have access to. And like, she's getting taken care of the way she should be. So kind of just, I know, we've prayed hard and we've gotten this far. So
yeah. And so what does like her treatment or her life look like with living with that currently?
So when she was born, we could not get her to eat. That was like the biggest struggle, getting her to eat. The meds we kind of were easy. We kept a schedule. I was a special ed teacher, so I was able to like almost like take data. Like, okay, she got her meds. As she got older, she got easier. Her reflux got better. She eats now. We have to monitor what she eats, but for the most part, we kind of try to treat her.
Does she have to be like on like a kidney-friendly diet?
Yeah, yes, kind of, but she doesn't really like French fries are her biggest like high potassium foods. But
yeah, I don't blame her.
She's allowed one high a day, so she usually gets what she wants.
She can have
she
that
has a G tube, and we run her pump at night, and I really think that has been her saving grace that her kidneys have functioned.
Filter through that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we just want her to have a normal life. So, you know, she gets her meds in the morning, gets her meds at night, and then you're kind of like a kid during the day, and we don't really.
Yeah,
and we want her to play with people.
So she doesn't have to do feedings through her tube throughout the day.
No, she eats.
Just,
she eats.
Oh,
just
good. Okay.
Really needs a little bit more supplement to help her grow.
Yeah, understandably.
And then we don't run on the weekends because we kind of were like, all right,
and eat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And so what does her sister think about it? How do you guys talk about it as a family with her?
I mean, we're honest. I think that's the best thing you have to do for kids. You know, Harper's kidneys didn't develop all the way. We're not sure why, but she's going to grow up just like you. She just might need a little extra help. We're definitely trying to be fair with both of them. Like Harper had to get blood work the other day, and she wasn't going to be at school lunch. So I tried to take Hannah in the morning while Tim took Harper to get blood work. Like, we'll go get a special breakfast, and you're not going to get Chick-fil-A for lunch. It's really learning, like, to balance. And I'm nervous about Hannah's, how she's going to be after the transplant. So, you know, I know DSP has resources, so I've, like, thought about getting maybe her counselor just to make sure she's okay, just with jealousy stuff. But
sure, yeah, because she's going to require all that time and attention. And
yeah.
But
she's pretty good. She's mature, Hannah, of the two of them.
Yeah. And I know, like, when TJ was hurt, it was so like Reese loved being like involved in his recovery. Like, so maybe just even considering like, hey, sister needs this. Maybe you can help her with that, and like getting her involved so she feels like a helper.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Too.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
They're pretty good with our dog. They love helping with the dog, so we'll see if that helps.
Like, this is your job.
It's been such a change for me. I'm like, can you go let the dog out? Can you feed her?
I know, it's like one less thing, right?
Yeah.
The mental load, one less thing.
But Harper's our kid, the one with the kidney disease. When we went through all her transplant stuff, her biggest concern, they're like, do you have any questions about your transplant, Harper? And her biggest concern was, yeah, can I go to Disney after?
Priorities.
Yeah,
Homegirl's got priorities.
It doesn't even faze her, so we're lucky that she just rolls with it too.
Yeah. And so what is this? I mean, if you talk about moms, our biggest fear, right? Like our kids, anything happening to our kids. So what has this experience kind of taught you about fear? Like how to manage the unknown and the fear of these things?
Honestly, being married to a police officer, and this is like dating back to like 18, Tim and I were engaged and Ballard died. There was a older trooper's wife who that I worked with at a different school when I was finishing my master's. She kind of had like sat me down. She's like, look, I know this is really hard, but you can't predict what's going to happen, and you can't live your life like this. You have to just live every day and like live fully. And if something happens, like that was, I don't know how to say it without like sounding just flat, but she's like, it's God's calling for that person. Like you can't live in fear. You have to just live each day fully and control what you can control.
Control the controllables. Yeah.
Like I can't sit at work while worrying about Tim's safety. Just pray.
Right.
Like, yeah. And it's so hard, but.
Whew. And so what have your kids taught you through this process too? Through her process?
I know that things could always be worse, so you have to just like think positive. Like Harper's flourishing in school, she's able to read on grade level. Just you have to think positive. Honestly, that's the
like see the bright
and
spots.
Control what you can control. Like I can't control her kidney function, so I can control how we handle it. And honestly, sometimes I freak out and lose my shit, but and Tim will attest.
Just like anybody else.
I'm definitely more anxious than he is, but finding ways to control
that.
Yeah, that fear.
And what does she say about it?
Harper,
yeah.
She's
like, whatever.
She's like, I'm getting a new kidney. I'm going to Disney. She's not even phased. I don't even think she realizes how like her kidney functions like 15%, which is stage 5, but she's still stable enough not to need dialysis. I don't think she realizes how bad she feels, and I'm interested to see the kid we're going to get. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
But she just keeps up with her sister, and I'm thankful that she has a typical twin, so she knows like it pushes her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about finding like the process for getting the transplant.
So we were when she got diagnosed, they referred us to CHOP. They specialize in twins and kidney disease. So that process has been a little bit. It's been pretty easy, to be honest. CHOP's really is almost kind of reminds me of like DSP, just the way that they give you all the information that you need, and that they're there for you. So she was referred to CHOP. We went through all the maternal fetal stuff. They didn't know if she was going to make it. Then she did. Then she was doing well after she came home. And they basically at like 3 or 4, they're like, hey, we're going to put her on the transplant list. So the list is a little different. She's not active on the list because she has a donor, and that's me. We both matched. But they went through the process and kind of told us, like, this is what it's going to look like. Her kidney function is going to go from 15% to 70%. It's not a cure, but
it'll be significantly better.
Yeah, she's going to feel so much better. So she's going to probably need 2 because pediatric transplants don't last as long as an adult.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, they're very straightforward with you. They tell you how it is. CHOP has resources almost like DSP has resources. So they're...
Yeah. So you're going to be her donor?
I am, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Last summer I had to like come to peace with it. We knew it was happening, but it kind of like happened kind of quick. They're like, okay, her kidney functions
down.
She's getting bigger, and her kidneys are having a hard time keeping up. So over the summer, I just started running and finding ways to like control it and looking into ways like how I'm going to help myself after.
Yeah, what does that look like for you after?
Harder for me than for her. I'm not going to be able to work out for 12 weeks, which for me is going to be
that's
like
tough.
the
Mentally
hardest mentally thing. So my parents got us a walking mat, and they're like, you just need to walk. So I got a camera, and I'm going to, walk around Lewis and find out what I can do to like, take pictures and walk. So I'll just set goals. Like, I'll track my workouts now. I'm going to track how far I can walk.
Wow.
Yeah. That's my goal for my post-transplant, but yeah.
And then, like, besides like not being able to work out, is there anything that you'll have to change physically, like your diet or anything like that?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to really have to watch what I eat more. We've really, as the girls are getting older, reduced alcohol intake. So
Yeah.
just following the rules of what they suggest and actually sticking with them.
And
But
actually doing it,
They
yeah.
do say that people who donate a kidney generally live longer because they really have to take care of themselves. So it's one of those
Okay.
things where I'm like, maybe this was my blessing, you know,
Yeah.
that you're really going to take care of yourself because you have to be there for your child.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Good
I mean,
for
it's
you.
been hard, but I mean, this is the road that was given to us. So, you know,
Yeah.
you can either let it define you or, you know,
Get
change
over it,
you.
get under
Yeah,
it. That's what I would say.
you guys have been through the same
Yeah.
thing.
Wow. I think that's really amazing and good for you. Good for you for doing that. So, I mean, all the things that, you know, you said that, you know, it for you and your husband, like this was something that you guys really had to work to get through. Obviously, like all the scary things with your daughter. You know, how do you guys feel like you've got through it?
So we've been together. We were together for like 6 years before the girls were born, and just experiences I think together have what changed us. I feel like we never really went through anything hard until after the girls were born, and then it was
Yeah.
like, you know, a house fire. That was after the girls, the house fire. But we got a boat before the girls were born, and that I thought was going to break us more than
boat,
this
yeah.
because it was trying to dock that boat. We were like both alpha, so I felt like after we figured out the boat, we're like, okay, now we know how to work together as a team.
Yeah.
Which sounds really sad that that's what prepared us for
Well,
everything
no,
else.
but I mean, it does make sense. Like, I mean, like TJ and I on the boat, he's always like, you know, you can't have two captains on a boat.
I know. I had to learn to be the co-pilot on that. I'm like, you know what, this is your thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of learned to listen there. But that really, I felt like helped prepare us for everything else. And then one thing we started after the girls were born, when they were a year and a half, we go away every other Thanksgiving, just the two of us.
Oh, wow.
And I think that's super important for couples. I know a lot of couples don't have, like, they're like, well, we don't have parents. I'm like, find a friend. You've got a community.
That's huge.
I think that's huge for marriages, is to, like, reconnect and, like, just find time, even if it's just a night. Like, go rent a hotel in Rehoboth and just be together.
One thing that I know I've talked about before, but I think this is huge, and I think, like, you know, your husband's a sergeant now, and you know, leadership in law enforcement need to recognize that, like, the families that don't have the support, right? Like TJ and I come from families on each side of us who have been incredibly supportive.
Yeah,
like,
same. We're very
I
lucky.
mean, we're very lucky in that sense. Anytime we're like, hey, you want to take Reese? They're like, sure, yeah. And so we have so much flexibility and freedom in that, but not everybody does. So one thing I've always talked about is, like, you know, like, your people on your shift are like your ride or dies.
Yeah.
And, like, you need to find a family to connect with and say, hey, I'm going to keep your kids this weekend that you're off. They can go away. Next weekend, or the next weekend that you guys are off, switch.
I think a lot of
Like,
people are just afraid to
let's
ask.
do it.
I think that's the biggest thing too. Like, you have to learn how to ask for help. You can't do everything by yourself. And so even some of my friends, I'm like, I'm gonna take your kids for a few hours. Like, you need
go.
a minute to yourself.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer. Like, I have a friend who homeschools, and she'll take my girls whenever, but she'll never ask. I'm like, I'm taking your boys. We're going to the movies. Go get your nails done. I think that's super important. Just
Yeah.
and then finding, like, community, like, you know, people who've been through the same thing and get it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, like, it's so easy to become disconnected. And so, you know, one of the things you guys talk about is, you know, date nights. That's like you got to have a few non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And, like, even if your date nights, like, if you're, I know some people are very uncomfortable with other people watching their children, but, like, put your kids to bed and then you two spend some time together, like, and reconnect, or, you know, just have some non-negotiables that are so, it's so important.
Yeah.
Like, and I think, I know you had mentioned that you feel like DSP is doing a little bit more. I did see where after Ty's stuff, they did put out like a debrief for spouses, which I think was
A long
really
time coming.
amazing.
I think there's just a lot of men are different than women, and I think women, you know, we are a part of the DSP family. You know, we're the backbone to, like, hey, you can have a family and still do a job you love. So sometimes I
Yeah.
think they need to include the wives, and I think just knowing your resources available and kind of finding, like, ways to handle things
Yeah.
or talk to people about it. I thought
It's
that I just
huge.
think I just interrupted you. And
No,
lost
no,
my
you're
train of
totally
thought, but-
right. No, and I think that that's really huge. And like, I think I would really like to see more departments recognizing the impact of this job on spouses, because it will impact the officer, right? Like if you're talking about your officer's health, you also need to be talking about your officer's health at home and their family's health at home. Because if TJ's coming home every day and I am a train wreck, that's going to impact him, right? Like it's going to impact him at work. It's going to impact him when he comes home. It's going to impact how he does his job. And like, I think we have to understand that there is no one without the other. Like you have to look at them holistically, and like, we have to talk about how this impacts our families.
I totally agree, especially with the unit Tim was in. I used to get like so frustrated, and I'm completely guilty. Like I was not making a safe place for him when he got home. And then I finally realized like, hey, if I really need to do something and he might get held over, I just got a babysitter. And that way, like I wasn't getting frustrated if he got held over, but then if he got home early, he was able to have a minute too to like go do something because we had the babysitter there. So I guess as you get older as a couple, you kind of have to learn ways at work and take care of yourself so that when they're coming home to a safe, like welcoming environment, not a frustrated wife. Because I was like getting so frustrated when he was in that unit and we had kids and he wasn't home when he was supposed to. And like he didn't have control of it, but I felt like I was taking it out on him.
Oh yeah. I mean, recent podcasts we talked a lot about how there's that feeling of resentment, right? You end up getting this feeling of resentment, not only towards the job, towards them. And I think that that's really, really common, especially because you're like, do they have control over over what happens at work? No. But you still start to feel resentment because you feel like everything that you do gets put on, it gets on the wayside, right? Like, no, they can't show up to a family party because they got held over, or now you have to do the things that they said they were going to do and so it just builds that resentment. And like, how do you guys kind of check in with each other to make sure that, doesn't take over?
I feel like you just have to have non-negotiables. Like you said earlier, my mom comes down a couple Wednesday nights a month just to kind of give us a little bit of a break. And if he's home, we're going out to dinner. She knows. Or just finding those like small moments, like trying not to have your phone when you're at dinner and like setting a good example for your kids, but just trying to find things that you guys enjoyed together. Like even if it's just go to dinner as a family, but finding negotiables that when he is home, like we're doing stuff together. We're not trying to be distant or like be present. I think that was the biggest thing too. Or just find things that are outside of you two as a couple too that bring you joy. Like Tim likes to play hockey, and if we're not doing something like family oriented, he's working, he's at a hockey game, and that's his break. And just finding those moments too where you get a break, so you're getting some time to yourself, because you have to be more than just your job and your parents.
Yeah, and you have to figure out a way to like refuel, right? Emotionally, physically, especially when, your job as a teacher is very draining. His job as a police officer is very draining. So when you both show up at home at night drained, it's real easy to have those, at least for me, I know when I'm tired and drained, it's really easy for me to get real snappy and frustrated.
Yeah, I can second that too. And then you have the mom guilt, so it's trying to balance that too after you yell, you're mad at me. No, I'm not.
Yeah. And, I would say as we've gotten older, TJ's been really good about being like, recognizing when I'm not doing so great. And he and I can do better recognizing when he's not doing so great. But, we've figured out ways to kind of emotionally make it back to each other. Yeah. And I think that's really, really big. And so one thing, I guess, I asked people if they had questions. A friend of ours, she has a similar background, been with her husband for a long time. All of their marriage, he's been a police officer, young kids now growing up, and, task force and back on the road and all the things that go along with that. And so some of the questions that we had were, what is one piece of advice that you would give to a couple that was just starting out in this life, in this law enforcement spouse, wife, life.
You definitely need to prioritize your marriage. That needs to be number one.
Yeah.
Because that, like, if not that Tim and I are like super religious, but we do, we are believers in God. Your family has to be number one. Like, your marriage has to be number one.
Right.
That has to come first. I mean, obviously, when they're at work and they can't change your schedule, but you have to have non-negotiables when they are home. So, finding like 20 minutes a night to, like, sometimes Tim and I will play cards after the kids go to bed just to, like, hang out together.
Yeah,
or
and connect.
For us, like, we go away every year, just the two of us. And that's something we probably, as the girls get older, maybe it'll be smaller trips. But finding time to, like, just be with your spouse is super important. And then making sure that you have something separate besides your home. Like,
Yeah.
Tim does hockey. I really like CrossFit. He gives me a hard time, says a cult, but honestly, it changed my
Whatever,
life.
it
It
was
really
making you
did.
happy.
For me, was finding something that you enjoy and, like, making sure that, honestly, I think for most people, finding something in fitness that, like, is going to be a lifelong thing, not just a quick fix.
Yeah. I mean, and another question that came up a lot is, like, what do you do to take care of yourself and protect your peace? And it sounds like CrossFit is something that you found that helps with
CrossFit,
that.
and I really just enjoy, like, reading, like, trashy books. But I mean,
Have you
it's
read
just,
the trashy one about the hockey guys? Because I
Not
haven't.
yet. I have not.
It's on my list. Shout out to Danny, because she's been hyping it up.
Yeah,
It was like a little combination of your
find
worlds.
stuff that you enjoy. Yeah, I guess you have to have for your marriage something outside of your marriage, like a sport or a hobby, and then making sure you find time for each other.
Right. Because I think so often that, like, all of the labels that we have, we lose ourselves, right? We lose ourselves in the fact that we're a mom. We lose ourselves in the spouse. We lose ourselves in our jobs. Like, we have to remember, like, we are a person too, right? And especially when you have young kids and then, a spouse that works shift work or night work or all those things, like, there's so much that falls on you and that mental load.
Yeah. And just talk about it. Like, I feel like I'm pretty open and, like, I need to, like, verbally get stuff out.
Yeah.
Or, like, talk to, like, someone who's in a similar situation. And, like, I'll talk to other police wives. I'm like, do you guys ever feel like this? And they're like, yeah. And it makes you just kind of feel like, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. And
yeah. Doesn't make you
having
feel
a
so
community,
alone. Yeah. And it is really hard. Like, I remember when Reese was little, thankfully we had some really good friends that, she was a police wife as well. She had kids that were the same age. And, like, on the weekends when we had to get out of the house because he needed to sleep because he was on night work, like, we could go over to their house or we could do things together, and we found community. And I think that's one thing for me that I would really make sure I would want people to know is that you have to have a community.
Yeah,
right.
I
You
definitely
can't
agree
do all this
100%.
alone.
and we're also very fortunate. We live close to the beach. Like, so in the
Yeah.
summertime, it's so easy to get
Yeah.
out of the house. But in the winter, we're like, all right, we've really got to get creative. And then for us, it's hard sometimes. Like, right now, most kids go to Shelby Bounce. Like, we can't take Harper there.
Oh, no.
So it's just trying to make
His
sure you have
germ
your friends.
factory.
Yeah.
Leave there with the
Poor girl.
I don't want to say anything bad about Shall We Bounce, because I think they
love it.
perform
but
a
we just
very
can't be there
important
right
service.
now.
But yeah,
so it's just trying to find stuff for them and finding your community. And
yeah,
like, they're at a friend's house right now who's also a teacher, and her husband is a police officer. And, like, she gets it. She's like, I think it's so cool you're doing this.
yeah.
So finding your community. Yeah, circling back, you really just have to find a community, make time for yourself, and then prioritize your marriage. Those are 3, like, non-negotiables. And not everyone has to go work out, but, like, find something that helps your mental health.
Definitely. And I think, one thing that TJ and I really talk a lot about is that there's such a strong connection between your physical health and your mental health. And one thing that I've talked about, and, especially because I feel like so many wives struggle, like they struggle seeing their spouse struggle. And I don't want to say just wives, because it, could go both ways. But, like, as someone who, I'm a very strong proponent of, like, I'm a licensed mental health, social worker. Like, this is what I do every day. Like, your mental health and your physical health are just linked. There's no way around it. Like, physically,
agree.
Genetically, biologically, like, that's just how it is.
I 100% agree.
And, like, one thing you can do, like, because I feel like, I think another thing that we hear a lot from wives is, like, they sometimes feel really helpless when their spouse isn't doing well. Like there's that dichotomy. And I think it is getting better, especially after Ty and especially after some things that have happened. Seeing so much more being put out there about mental health and law enforcement. But like one thing I always say, like, hey, if they're not willing to go talk to a therapist, which
not a lot of husbands are. I think women are more
like
okay
not
with
just
it.
men, but especially men in this profession, right? Because there's work related things that could be tied to that, right? But I think like if they're not willing to go see a therapist, be like, hey, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's go for a run. To try and even just physically get some of that emotion out is so big. And it's a connection for you too. Like TJ and I, some of our best talks have been when we've been walking or working out together. Our Sunday run days, that was like our time.
Yeah.
And we would always feel so much better afterwards.
Yeah. In the summer, I feel like everyone's just so happy because we're at the beach, we're living it. Like
Getting
you
all
can
the
get out and do
sunshine.
stuff. So yeah, I think being aware also too, and going to like events that are for the wives. Like we went to an event on Monday night, and there's just some stuff like knowing signs, like if your husband's not okay, like reaching out to make sure, like, hey, have a buddy check on them.
Yeah.
Or like kind of like for me with Tim, I like try to make sure he's like pushing himself to like get outside and work out. Or
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely think, and I love that, the police organizations are pushing this because, we see what they're like when they come home, and you may not see that at work. And, we're your first line of defense in some aspects, right? Like if you give us the resources and tell us and teach us how to talk about it, like we can do more, and, might be a little more open at home to talk about
There's
it.
just so much too. I think that even as wives, we don't see what goes on. Like they've seen stuff that no human should really see, and then they see it multiple times. So
Yeah. Like
it's
we're
just-
not meant to be doing these things.
So making sure that you're checking on them. But I'm very guilty of like I need to be more of a safer space when he gets home, and not like, all right, let's go because I'm so type A.
like giving him that
a
wind
minute.
down
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
So it's a learning process. I felt like COVID. The girls were born right before COVID, and I let myself like get super anxious. I gained so much weight after them, and then at like 2-3 years in, I'm like, I don't feel good about myself. So it changed me to like also motivate. Like Tim and I, like we need to exercise. We need to get outside.
Yeah. That's actually one of my next questions is like, how do you model resilience and like healthy coping skills for your kids with all of the things that we have going on in life?
Number one, always say sorry. Like, hey, mommy freaked out. I'm sorry. Like, you don't want them to be like, oh, she yelled at me. Making sure you're saying you're sorry. And then also talking about like, okay, mistakes are good. Like you're learning from them. Or like, practicing reading is how you're going to get better. Like that's why mommy keeps practicing at the gym, because I want to get better and faster and be healthier. So I think it's just being open with your kids. And, my kids will ask questions, and we don't really lie to them about much. Like when the police officer died, and we talk about it.
Yeah.
And just making sure that they like are aware, but also making sure they're active and having like activities they enjoy too, not just their parents.
Yeah. And how do you talk about that with your daughters? Like when there's a big event in our community, like we lose an officer or there's unrest or whatever.
We're like, there's bad guys out there. There's bad people. And that's why sometimes mommy and daddy yell, because we want you guys to be good people. And we're trying to teach you how to be good people. But we're also trying to keep you safe.
Right. Yeah.
And if they asked him questions, we're not going to give them like extreme details. But we're, we kind of just tell them how it is. I mean, obviously, if something's really not going to be good for their safety, we'll protect them from that. But
yeah,
also letting them know about stuff. I think kids are interested in learning about things too.
Yeah.
They love that Tim's a police officer. I mean, when he switched units and got his new police car, they wanted us to go home so we could see the new police car. I'm like, we're not going to go home before dinner to go see this new police car, but they're proud of it. I think just being proud of your profession too also sets an example for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and it shows you that like hard work pays off, right? Being a good person pays off, and doing the right thing pays off.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge.
I hope I covered all that part. It's kind of hard, but yeah, I mean, we're pretty honest about them, and like even with Harper's kidney stuff, we're not going to like lie to him. Like this is the truth. It's going to stink for a couple weeks, but we'll get better, and we're going to have community, and
So like a common thing that I'm hearing is like communication, right? Like we're being open and honest and having those
Yeah.
honest discussions and not sugarcoating or hiding.
Yeah. Or like showing kids, like, we made them clean toys and we're like, hey, we're going to donate these toys, or doing what you can to help. Like, we donate blood. It's not a lot, but it's helping a little bit. Or when Kevin got sick, we didn't even know them, but I had a brother who had cancer when I was in high school, a stepbrother, and we worked with DSP to host a blood drive. Just finding ways that you can help too. I
Yeah.
think kids seeing like, okay, my parents are helping just because.
Yeah, and that's huge. And supporting the community that you're in.
Yeah, I mean, it supported us, so you have to give back to the community you're going to live in.
Yeah. So if you could go back and talk to yourself at the beginning of like your journey and your marriage and your relationship and going down this path, what would you say?
Make sure you have like a mental outlet and find an exercise that you like. I think I would have been definitely more open to like talking about mental health more than I was when we first started dating.
Yeah.
Just making sure you are more open about it and being prepared to have that conversation when you have kids, because being a police wife without kids is a completely different experience than when you have kids.
I would say. How do you feel like that's changed you guys?
I think being more present is definitely changes. We're like, they're only little. If you're only going to be home for a little bit amount of time, like while they're awake, you have to be fully present and give them all of your attention while you're home.
Right. Like really shifting.
Yeah. And just prioritizing, like, okay, like next weekend we're taking the kids to Great Wolf Lodge with my parents. Like, just making sure we're taking time to do stuff with them, so they're
making the most of the time home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you only have like every other weekend or what it might.
Yeah,
whatever
I mean,
it might be.
the unit he was in, I feel like he's working less now, and it's really only one weekend a month that he's on nights.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to think positive too, but.
Yeah. And like framing it in a way that makes sense and doesn't cause more anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some ways you've learned to ask for help?
Definitely like my mom and like even my mother-in-law. I'm like, hey, can you guys come down or help? My mom is a saint. Like, she will help whenever she can. But we also don't want to like push like too much on her, because I've also seen some kids where they just dump their kids on the parent.
Oh yeah.
And like my parents are involved with the kids and they like being involved and including them in some police events, like the first responder event, like bringing them to places too where they can also help. And then I think just asking for help, like just being honest, like finding your community. Like honestly, when you're in the police wife family, you kind of have friends. So
yeah.
And just your friends asking for help and like, hey, I'll help you too.
Yeah. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. What do you feel like has been your biggest triumph through all of this?
That's hard. We've been through a lot, so at this point, I feel like, we've been through, children in the NICU, kidney disease, a house fire. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think at this point we're just to the point where like we've been through so much together that nothing's really going to break us.
Right. You've come through the fire.
Yeah.
Survived it, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a combination of all of that, just being able to get over it and then
surviving.
Yeah. And then getting away and just being able to reconnect. Like we went to Nashville last weekend. It was a 2-day weekend, but just enough to be the two of us. So I don't know. It's a combination of a lot of things. I'm proud of us, though. I mean, we're not the perfect couple. We fight. We are definitely that bickering couple. But at the end of the day, like, you're my ride or die. We got each other's back. So
yeah. And what role has your faith played in your life?
I think when we got married, that really changed for us. We are Catholic. Both of our parents are Catholic, so there was no way we were going to go to like a different church. But our priest used to be a police officer, our Catholic priest,
wow.
Father Coco, and he does a lot for DSP. So I think having him and being able to like talk to him, like we'll have him over our house, and he's like having a priest that you can talk to, and he doesn't make us feel like he's judging us, has made a huge difference. Like we'll ask him questions that are just off the wall. He's come over to like anoint our house. He's going to anoint Harper and myself. So I think it's just being able to pray and find a church where you fit, or you're able to like talk to your priest or people in your church and be able to talk about God. And not everything's going to be perfect.
Right. The realities of life.
Yeah. I mean, you guys have been through so much too. So
yeah.
It's also finding people that around you that inspire you. Like I've watched your story. I've never met either of you.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's doing okay.
That's right.
And so what would be like one thing you want other families that are kind of in that survival mode to hear?
Ask for help. You need to ask for help. Ask a friend.
Phone a friend. Yeah.
If not, like get outside and get fresh air. That's the first step. Like getting outside, finding some time like to yourself, even if it's in 10-minute increments.
Yeah.
Sometimes just taking a bubble bath. Like you need to find a little bit of joy if you're in the struggles. But ask for help is definitely number one. Like Tim's not good about that.
No, a lot
Like,
of them.
I don't even think he's even told DSP like when our date is of the transplant. Where I've like told my whole entire school district, I'm like, hey, yeah,
It's coming up.
but like we have a community around us, so I think you just have to find your niche and your people, and making sure that you're able to talk to them and ask for help, even if it's your mental health. I need 10 minutes with my kids.
Yeah.
But you also have to be able to be that person and do the same for other people.
Yeah. And I also think we have to recognize when we are in survival mode, right?
Yeah.
I think for a long time when TJ was on nights, he was on nights, Reese was a baby, like infant, and like he was on permanent nights. And I don't think I recognized for a long time that I was
Permanent nights.
in survival mode.
Yeah.
Like I didn't recognize it. It was just like, get up and go. And everything was like, and then I remember specifically one night, it was like, maybe at like 12, it was around midnight. He was at work and I just called him and I was like sobbing. I was like, you need to come home. Like Reese wasn't sleeping. I hadn't slept in, I don't even know how long. It was like one of those nights. And thankfully he worked for a sergeant at that time that let him come home because he was like, you probably need to get home.
Yeah. I'll get into funks every once in a while. And like Tim's definitely that person for me. He like will like get it together, snap out of it. And he definitely is helpful in that. But I having babies, I think that's where
It's such a hard time.
police units and other communities definitely, I think that's the hardest transition is having a police officer on nights and they need sleep for their safety, but then you're also like doing this alone.
Struggling over here.
And people give us a hard time. They're like, are you having more? I'm like, no, we had twins. They slept through them. Like we were lucky they benefit of a NICU where they always slept. So we got sleep, but there definitely needs to be, I think that maybe that's calling that I just found out, but is finding community like right when you have a baby, because that's the hardest part, especially when you're alone and they're on nights and
and like you don't know what you don't know.
you are in survival
right?
mode,
That is a huge.
And then looking back on it, you're like, oh my gosh,
I don't know how we did it.
yeah. And then when they were like 3, I found the gym and really felt like I was a better parent.
100%. Yeah. What keeps you going on days that feel heavy? Because there's a lot of heavy stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy stuff. Ty's death, never met him, but like that really shook home for me. I was a little bit down over Christmas break.
That's tough.
But I like the owner of our CrossFit gym, like, hey, can we just do workouts in his honor, and finding ways to like really, honor people or get out and talking to people about it.
Yeah.
Like other police wives, I think is really important.
Definitely.
Or like teachers that you kind of get it. Like I went to dinner one night and I'm like, I needed to get out of the house. Like I could see I was like spiraling down even if I was going to the gym, and just talking, then I felt so much better.
Yeah.
You can't let it
Fester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a shirt on Instagram. I know it sounds so weird, but it literally says, don't let the hard days win. And I never bought the shirt, but that keeps popping up in my feed. And I'm like, you can't let the hard days win. Yeah.
So we made one. And we wear it. I wear it to the gym a lot, but yeah, you just can't let them win, and you have to recognize it and like, I don't want to say like pull up your bootstraps and get over it, but like recognize, okay, I need to break this cycle, right? Because a lot of times it's that mental loop in our head that we just keep playing over and over and over again, that we have to figure out a way to break it. And sometimes it's just getting outside, a change of environment, talking about it. Like those are so huge.
Things that help me, I am weird, type A, but I'll like make lists. Like, okay, I need to work out. Like that's on my list. If you complete stuff on your list, you almost feel like you've had a successful day, even though I was going to work out anyway. Just putting it on your list and crossing it off. Yeah. I don't cook, so if I cook, I'm like, oh, that was a big one for me.
And so like I know, with the loss of Ty recently, I think that hit hard for a lot of wives. And I think anytime there's a loss in our community, we definitely feel it.
Especially when it's so close to home. I mean, and
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us, like, you know, it's in the back of your head and then it happens and then it goes away for a while and then it happens again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so hard to handle that. I definitely was in a funk over Christmas break, but like I was going to the gym. I was making sure I was still
Yeah.
trying to take care of myself.
Yeah.
And then talking to Tim about it too. Because like he's also, like
They're
that could have been any of
affected
them.
by it. Yeah. I know. I think that, I mean, TJ's survivor's guilt always kicks in really bad around those times. So we always have to do a little bit of talking, a little more being aware, a little more of, a lot more buddy checks
Yeah.
during those times with each other and with our friends. Like, you know, all of our, I don't want to say all of our friends. This probably sounds really bad, but a lot of our very close friends were involved in TJ's shooting and around that. So, you know, everybody has been impacted in one way or another by an incident where they survived.
Yeah.
And so they all kind of, I think, deal with that. In the sense of like, it could have been me, it should have been me, and I think a lot of the guys, not just our friends, but police officers in general, always put themselves in their shoes, like, and like, you know, we know some of the officers that were up there with Ty that day, and just the struggle that they go through, knowing that it wasn't them, or that they felt like they could have or should have done something differently, and it's like those could haves and would haves are just,
they'll make you go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't imagine going through that as a police officer. So
Yeah.
I don't even know how to even answer that one for that, though. That's got to be so hard. I just checking on your people. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, Tim goes through stuff that I'll never ever see. So
Yeah. So what are some of the resources that you found recently, as you know, through this event that have been helpful
you
for
probably
you?
are in one of these, but there's like 2 random Facebook groups. They're for like police wives.
The Delaware LEO Wives.
Yes, that one. And then there's a DSP one, and, you know, just the wives are on it and they're talking. And they brought up to DSP, like, you know, there's not a lot of support. Like, we don't know what's available to us. And there's a couple wives who are really stepping up. I wish I could help more, but with like getting ready to go into transplant, I'm like, I don't know if I can
it's
commit
a lot.
to that. But there's one who I really feel like she had a door closed, and you probably know who I'm talking about. Her husband's a trooper, and she's like, I really feel like there's this calling to me to like help with the DSTA about police resources for the wives, and also for us to be able to like help our husbands better.
Yeah.
And just trying to be like aware of, you know,
Yeah.
what's around. So, you know, you're allowed to have counseling, and I'm also a state employee, so we get like a lot of support from our benefits.
Employee assistance programs.
So I think just being aware of that and being able to help when you can.
Yeah. And I really want people to feel like mental health care is accessible. I think especially in the law enforcement community, it's like as soon as somebody says they're not doing okay, they're fearful of losing their job.
Yeah.
Right? Like, give me your badge, give me your gun, you can't work anymore.
But that's
And that's not, it shouldn't be that way. And I think that we're really, I feel like maybe the tide is turning a little bit.
I definitely think it is, because even when we went to this event on Monday, like CISM was there, and they were, you know, talking about like your buddy checks and making sure that your person's okay and your friends are okay. And
yeah. And like, I feel like there's one thing that we've learned through, like, so TJ does a buddy check online every Friday.
that's awesome.
But I think there's one thing that we've learned through that is if somebody is popping up in your mind and on your heart, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? I just thought about this person today. Like, what I've started to do because of those buddy checks is if somebody's on my heart, I'm going to call you and be like, hey, I was just thinking about you today. What's going on? Because like, I feel like God puts that.
Do you feel like they're usually, when you check in, then they're like, I was actually thinking about you too? I feel like that happens a lot
Sometimes, but it's like, I think sometimes it's just like, it's timing. Like, I feel like we've learned so much that like, you know, it's like you just reach out and someone's like, man, I didn't really realize how much I needed that today. And I think like, I don't know, I just can't encourage people enough. Like if somebody's on your heart or on your mind, just reach out to them. Just like, don't be weird. Like be like, hey, this might be weird, but you were on my mind today. I just wanted to check in with you, see how you're doing. It's like, oh, thanks. You know, I'm just going through this, or I was thinking about you too. Or, you know, just really the most important thing we can do as individuals is to be connected, right? Like that's when we feel disconnected and isolated, that's when the bad things start happening, the thoughts, the feelings, like that's when the bad things are. So, I can't stress enough, like especially as a wife, as a law enforcement spouse, as a mental health practitioner, like connection is the biggest thing. I don't want, and I think that as a spouse, that's how we can support our officers or our first responders too, is making sure they feel connected and never alone.
I 100% agree. I can't agree with that more. I think in just having those random acts of kindness too. And just surrounding yourself with people that you aspire to be, to help you also like check on people and like, what would this person do?
Yeah.
And then having that faith, like I agree. There's when I left to go from Indian River to Cape, I had a hard time because I gave up having a classroom to a different position. But I met some of the most like amazing group of friends that I never would have had if like God didn't open that door for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take that job, but I also knew like Cape's like the elite. So like if you don't get this job, and ended up being the blessing that I didn't even know I won. And I really enjoy my job, and I like working in the community that I serve in.
Yeah.
Or live in. I serve the community I live
You
in.
do. You definitely serve the community as a teacher. You definitely do.
I was like, was that the right word?
One phrase that always stands out to me is that, and it makes me crazy, but one phrase that I think we see a lot, especially, when there's somebody that dies or somebody that is hurt or is involved in things, is they know what they signed up for.
I hate that. That's like one of the hardest things. They signed up to help others, and that's so hard. Nobody deserves that. I definitely have to keep like my political views a little bit more locked down being married to Tim, but they didn't sign up for that. They signed up to help their community, and I really think, police officers have a calling. Like my husband knew from the time he was 5, he knew he wanted to be a police officer. He loves his job. And he's not like the most community-oriented person, but he loves like his job. Like
helping people.
Yeah. I don't think he signed up to get hurt.
I know. I have such a hard time.
So
I always
hard,
have to be like,
yeah, I have to. Yeah.
Like rein it in, Amanda. Don't say what you really want to say. And especially in the age of like social media, I think it's really hard. Like, there can be such a negative view towards this job. How do you guys manage that when there's like a negative social image or a negative image of law enforcement?
I'm luckily married to someone who has like an I don't give a F personality. And so that's Harper. So, I mean, he's definitely the person, like he loves his job and he doesn't care what people think. Like,
right.
He knows if you know you're doing the right thing,
right.
You just kind of got to ignore the rest of it.
Ignore the noise.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard sometimes. Like, I like really want to comment on posts, but I'm like, I'm also a teacher, also a police wife. Like, I just keep my mouth shut. And
yeah,
your community usually agrees with you.
Yeah, and like people that are doing the right thing for the right reason, no, you know what I mean. And
nobody signed up for that.
No, I know. I recently made a post on something that I wouldn't forever would never make a reply or a comment to, and then I did recently, and I was like almost immediately regretted it because I was like, "Oop, your law enforcement support showing." Like, get ready for the backlash. But actually, I didn't get any. But I think
things
it's
are
tough.
turning though too. I think people are starting to realize like people have a job, and if you're not in that situation as a police officer and for your own health, like you have a family to go to. How can you judge like anything that a police officer does, like in a quick second?
Yeah.
Like
nobody knows how they would respond in that moment
unless you were in it. So I think you just, I've been with Tim for 13 years, so I feel like at this point, I mean, before we had kids and stuff. So to this point, I mean, this is our family. We know our people, and
you can't let all the outside noise get in.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, most of my Instagram reel is all the same views I have now, so your algorithm kind of works. So I don't, or I'll just stay away from it.
Yeah, social media is tough, especially, with opposing views and not always a positive climate. But I think that's a huge thing is also to talk about is that like you have to turn off the comments. You can't, there's some people that literally their job is to just bait people into arguments on social media, and then you have to really make sure that, you know, to not, because our diet is everything, right? What we see, what we hear, what we eat, what we ingest, and that includes
You are
that.
like you are what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. You just have to stay away from it. I hate to say that, like, but I think that's something that I learned the hard way, I think, after TJ's incident, is to not look at all the dumb comments.
Yeah.
Because it just is like, it's adding hard to hard, right? Like, you're already dealing with a loss, you're already dealing with something difficult, and then you have like the naysayers that are hopping on and saying things, and you're like, you know what, just can't. Just got to shut it off.
Would they be your people, though, if it happened? Like,
No.
They wouldn't be your people. So, like, that's the thing
Yeah.
that I've learned with Tim. Like, they're not your people anyway. So,
Yeah.
don't even spend time, like, wasting your time on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard because, you know, there is a lot of hate against law enforcement, but I don't agree with it. And I'm just going to keep backing up and controlling what I can control.
Right. Showing up and doing the right thing will always come out good in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard sometimes when you work in a school, too, because some of my views are not aligned with the school district. Not the school district, sorry, but, like, with education.
Sure,
so
in general, yeah.
I just keep my mouth shut. I'm also not one of those people where I'm, like, super, like, I don't spend time, like, acknowledging myself enough, so I don't want to say something and sound, like, silly.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it's like for me, it's also like I'm not super concerned about somebody else's opinion of my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that, I don't know if that sounds right, if I'm saying that right, but like, I don't think everybody has to know my opinion or agree with me. That's okay.
I'm very fortunate that I met Tim in my, like, late 20s and, like, 30s that we've been together, because I feel like I used to care what people think. And now I'm like, you know, he's definitely been one of those people, like, why do you care? You have your people. You have me. Like,
yeah.
Just be
like,
happy.
we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, but circling back, it's just hard not to, like, not pay attention to it, but I think you just got to not let the hard days win and push out, like, comments that don't really align with your views.
Right. Yeah. And so, you know, I would think one of the things that, you know, we had originally talked about is that, like, this is heavy stuff that I think we deal with on a regular basis, right? It's like, and not to belittle any other type of profession, but, like, I don't know.
Public work.
Yeah, public work is hard.
Yes.
Dealing with people is hard. And I think, you know, we don't have to do it perfectly every day.
No.
Right? We have to keep showing up, but we don't have to keep doing it perfectly every day.
Yeah. Just doing the best you can, the right thing, I think, are number one. One thing that I do really like that Cape does, they talk about, like, being 1% better every day. And I think that's, like, you know, it's 2-3 minutes out of your day, even if you're doing 30 squats or you're reading for 3 minutes, just trying to find a way to improve every day.
Yeah.
Like, Tim makes fun of me, but I track every single workout I do. I'll, like, beat myself from last year. I'm like, oh.
Well, I mean, that shows improvement. That's motivation.
Yeah. So I think just, you know, ignoring the people, doing, you know, what's right, and really just trying to do the right thing is huge.
Yeah. And so, you know, like, I don't say in conclusion, but, like, with everything that you guys have gone through and everything, you know, that you're about to go through with the transplant, you know, what are some things that you're building into that to make sure that you guys are successful?
Going with the motto, don't let the hard days win. I think what you circled back to this earlier, but communication, I think, is number one. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a little bit nervous, like, how our laundry's going to get done during this experience.
Sure.
Tim is, like, a hot mess of the laundry. So, like, making sure, like, hey, like, can you do this? And just being honest, like, I'm really going to need your help this time. And knowing that sometimes it's not going to be a 50-50 marriage. It's going to be 80-20, but, like, it's not always going to be like that.
Right.
And knowing your resources, and, like, I know there's going to be hard days. This is nerve-wracking. Like, I'm donating an organ.
Yeah.
But I don't keep stuff in, so I think I do better with stuff because I just get it all out. Like,
right.
I told you when you asked earlier, I'm like, oh, I'll just spill everything to you.
Yeah. And so what is your hope for, like, going forward? Like, what would you like to see for our community and, you know, like, for the spouses and for our first responders?
Number one, I think, at least down in Sussex County, I feel like we have the support, but, like, understanding, like, you know, you're not a police officer. You don't know I don't even know all the time what Tim sees or goes through. But stop making those judgments about, like, what you would do in a situation. I'd like to see the community, like, kind of back the police more. They have done a great job, but just educating people on it. I think DSPs were doing a really good job right now of like, you know, bringing in the wives a little bit and having meetings with us. I think that was huge.
I was really so
Just
happy to
for
see
even
that.
like mental health for your spouse, for you, for your marriage. I think that's amazing. Community wise, I think just backing community up where you can. Donate blood. Just, you know, go to events, talk to people, learn.
Yeah. Being open.
yeah.
Open to that. Being open to that. So, you know, and I'm you know, I'm really hopeful. I feel like we are seeing a shift a little bit.
I do. I agree. I think there's a shift.
And I'm appreciative of that.
I also think Lauren's been super brave
Yeah.
in sharing her story. So I think that's also made people a lot more aware. And like, I think the wives are starting to feel a little, like very appreciated. Not that we didn't before, but like, we are the backbone to like some of the families. And I think there's a shift. But I would like to see community as a whole kind of
Rally a little more.
Yeah, I mean, they've done an amazing job. But even just
Yeah.
for anybody that's going through anything, not just teachers, police,
Yeah.
communities to rally around each other. Yeah.
I
We've
love
been
that.
very fortunate, like with DSB and like the school districts I've worked in, they've really
Yeah.
taken care of us.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you've had
Yeah.
that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've had not like it's been a great experience because we had these adversities, but that like they just rallied. And I think that's seeing that your community can do so much for you also helps
Yeah.
people during hard times.
Yeah. And I love that. I do love to see like the recognition of the work that you know, that the families play, and seeing it as a really holistic thing. And it's not just a job you can show up to and come home from all the
Yeah.
time.
No.
And recognizing that's extra support is needed, that trauma isn't optional. It's not an if, it's a every day, it's a when, and recognizing that, and seeing, you know, that it's an occupational hazard that has to be treated. I think is hopeful, a very big
I
thing.
think it would be really cool if DSP had like mandatory. I mean, Tim's probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but I think it would be cool if they just had like a mandatory, like once a month, like
Yeah.
even if it's just
Debrief,
a peer, like it doesn't have to be a counselor, but just
A check-in.
Check in, yeah.
I was on a podcast a couple months ago where I had mentioned, like, I think that it needs to be required. Like, it's an occupational hazard, right? Like, if you had lead exposure
Yeah.
at work every day, you would have to have treatment for the lead exposure.
Trauma exposure. Your
Yeah.
mind is, you know, critical incidents that even teachers don't even see.
Yeah. So I agree. I would love to see that. And I don't think everybody is probably going to be on board with
No,
that
probably not
thought.
even my husband,
But I think it would be really amazing if that would to be something. And then also, like, subsequently, like, as wives, we can recognize that we are experiencing what's called vicarious trauma, right? The
Yeah.
trauma based on witnessing somebody else's trauma. Like,
Yeah.
they come home and we talk about what happened. So now you're experiencing that yourself, and understanding that there's an impact to you as well. And, you know, that, you know, sometimes we need a little bit more help too in
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
So I think that would be great. And I love to see, like, again, like, your algorithm changes based on what you see, right? So I feel like I've been seeing more like, you know, significant, like, spouse retreats, or like, you know, trainings together, or, you know, doing those things. So I love that those are becoming more of an option.
Yeah,
I'm really happy about that.
I think that's awesome. My parents are divorced, so for me, when I got married to Tim, I'm like, this is non-negotiable. Like, I mean, it does give you a little bit of trauma as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my parents, they get along now, but they didn't when I was a kid. And I told Tim, like, this is for real. So, like, I'm not getting divorced.
Oh yeah. That's
I'm not
what I
doing
told
that
you.
to
Does,
my
like,
kids.
for better or
Not like
worse.
my parents like meant to do anything to us, but I don't want to do that to my children. So,
Yeah.
like, you got to make that commitment too.
Yeah. Like,
To each
you know,
other, yeah.
again,
But
we
I
don't
think
get
they've-
married to get divorced, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
No,
I think
there's-
that's huge.
I think things are going in the right direction. I think with, you know, community and like the spousals getting support, but also being able to support our spouse better. Because I
Yeah.
know I've been guilty of like coming home and like being like, do all these things. I'm like, I didn't give Tim a second to like decompress, and I forget that his job.
Requires that
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah. I get it. I totally get it. I know, and like, I work from home, so like, as soon as I shut my office door, I'm like, oh, in the house, ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
But you know, we all need that transition time, that decompression time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a hard thing for me when I switched from the school district I worked to the one I now, because my kids are with me all the time.
Yeah, you bring them to school.
So I
They're
like
at
make
school, you
sure I
come
like
home for school.
either when they go to bed or before they get up, I will make sure I like either read or work out just so.
Just at that time
Yeah.
for you. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience and all the things that you're going through. And I can't wait to see, how Harper does and how you
Yeah.
guys do after the transplant. So definitely keep us updated and
I would love
let us
to,
know
yeah.
if there's any support that you guys need or I'm excited.
We're a little overwhelmed now. We don't even know what we need yet, but I guess we'll figure it
Yeah.
out as we go. Yeah.
Yeah. And will that be up at CHOP?
She'll be up at CHOP, yeah.
Wow.
We've had great doctors, so I
Yeah.
mean, we've not had a bad experience there. And she'll be a pen patient, so
Okay.
that'll help. That makes us feel better that she'll, always be a
just
part of
right
that
there.
hospital, yeah. But I'm excited to see her like flourish now.
Yeah. Just to
It's
see
scary,
how good
but
she
yeah.
can feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
And I'm going to continue to watch you guys because you guys definitely are motivators. Yeah.
We're trying.
I think everybody's just been
trying.
through a hard time, and you just have to recognize that too. But thank you for having
Yeah, and
me.
I think having those open and honest conversations is what we really want to do here. Like, we want to talk about that it's not easy.
No, it's not.
But everything that we truly love is worth fighting for. So
Yeah.
we want to keep having those really difficult conversations so we can keep fighting for what we love.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on,
Thank you for
Christine.
having me. A pleasure.
Yeah.